What's up, everybody? Welcome to Free Minded TV. Today we have a very exciting but embarrassing story. Today we're going to be talking about the worst year of my life. Now, this story starts off New Year's Eve of 2012, the beginning of 2013. I was just released from jail a few months prior. I was in good shape and good health. And this is probably the first time in my life that things are actually going right for once. At least that's what I thought. So New Year's Eve, I'm boarding at my father's house. I just got let back in the house, and I find a big bottle of Smirnoff. Little did I know, it wasn't Smirnoff. It was actually some sort of Greek moonshine. So me, trying to be a good big brother, I decided to give my sister a shot, just like my big brothers did for me when I was younger. After that, I put the bottle away and went to sleep. Well, I guess I wasn't as slick as I thought, because my sister saw where I put the bottle. And I woke up to my father screaming at me that my sister got trashed and snuck her boyfriend in. Needless to say, my luck ran out, and that next morning, I was driven by my father to my first shelter. That shelter happened to be Father Bill's in Quincy. For a shelter, this isn't a bad spot. In Massachusetts. It's probably one of the best shelters available. Now, saying that, let me give you a little taste of my first night at this shelter. First off, I show up there with a toothache to begin with, so I wasn't getting much sleep. And when I did finally get some sleep, a drunk old guy ended up pissing himself and ended up trying to stumble to the bathroom and fell right on top of me. As a 21-year-old kid in a shelter for the first time, it wasn't a good experience. I could say that I didn't fall back asleep after that one. Now, I wish I could say I learned my lesson and I, changed my life around after this horrible night, but that wasn't the case. I had to quickly adapt to my surroundings. Luckily, I met this man right here. I'm not going to give his name or his info out, but I just want to show you how tall this guy was. We'll call him Stretch. That was his nickname. Served a lot of time, I think 9 to 10 years for some sort of armed robbery with pretty big guns. I don't know the details on it. I hope to have him on this show, so in a future episode, so he can tell his story. Crazy story. Knowing I didn't have the means to support a heroin habit, I decided to check myself into detox on the island. It's not there anymore. It was the Andrew House. They moved, and the island got shut down. It was a wonderful place with a lot of recovery. A little creepy island, but there was a lot of good programs there. But at this detox, I decided to try methadone for the first time, and that was probably the worst mistake I've ever made in my life. The first week I was on methadone, I ended up overdosing for the first time, and for some reason it really didn't faze me like it should have, and that was just the first of many more to come. Since I overdosed, I obviously had my first taste of Narcan. Narcan is a wonderful drug that saves lives, but in the moment, as an addict, it's the worst feeling in the world once you get hit with Narcan. You'd rather die than feel the excruciating pain. At least that was my experience with this. But since I was on the clinic and heading down the wrong path, it didn't take long before I got kicked out of Father Bill's for good. Luckily, the night I got kicked out of Father Bill's, my friend Stretch left with me to watch my back, and I was very grateful, and I still am to this day. But from Father Bill's, we moved up to Mass Ave. Good old Methadone Mile. If you're not familiar with Mass Ave, it's pretty much the dump of Boston. It's like a breeding ground for addicts. You have Boston Medical Center there, where you can find your local drug dealers. There's pretty much a methadone clinic on every corner. Several so-called drug rehabilitation centers. A detox. Multiple shelters. There's even a morgue. So literally every scumbag in Boston is packed into this 1 mile of chaos. Everything from sex offenders to mental illness to crazies to homeless to anybody you can think of. I know the stories are just starting to get juicy. You're not going to have to wait too long. Part 2 is going to be out hopefully tomorrow. Please like, subscribe, support my channel. I appreciate it. I hope my story can help someone else in my position to put their ego aside, keep a free mind, and move on with their life. You guys enjoy. Thank you.